It's like the man comes in there, tells his son, I told you to do this and do that and do this and shit like that. And the little boy said to him, well, I ain't doing shit and fuck you. And like that. And then all of a sudden the screen go black. And then it wakes up and you just see the daddy looking at him and he says,
hey.
He said, nah, everything's gonna be all right. I'm gonna call the doctor.
Good morning. Welcome to what? Oh, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Old Black Men Conversation. I am one of your co-hosts, Brother David Harold W. III, aka Delightful Dave, aka Cakey, aka Baker, and you are
Jake Walker, Big Head Talker, AK Shaky Boo OZ. I show up when you don't expect me to.
Wait, you have to use two.
I didn't have to use two.
No, see, because I show up when you
Don't expect me to. I show up when you, yeah.
When you expect me.
Wait a minute.
You end in the sentence. Oh,
I can't hear you. Where are my glasses?
Shake your butt. Shake your boo.
Hi, the real Cliff Barnes here, and happy to be here.
And I am your personal street philosopher, Gary Green. And I want to start off with, we're going to get to what we were talking about before we went live on the show. But I have a message for spring. Spring, we had this little talk last week, and now it's beautiful today. So I'm going to give you your prop, spring. You came through. But you overdid it a little bit with the 90s in May. It was a little bit too much. I know why you did it. You were trying to prove you ain't no punk. We know you ain't no punk, Spring. You were messing around with La Nina. Where is she now? She's somewhere off the coast of Antarctica. So I told you to leave that bitch alone. But anyway, so good job, Spring. Good recovery.
Good message.
okay. So what I was saying was, I don't think a lack of stability is an excuse for the kids today not learning. Just in general, I don't think the lack of stability is something that's legitimate. I really
Could I
don't.
get a paper towel?
We were saying that, stability was just like the whole point of them moving around and always being the only kid in class and stuff like that. They don't get that stability of just being in that one spot where they have time to learn, and at the same time, there's no mentors, when you're in that stable environment to, keep you on that path of, reaching. Because I messed up big time when I was in school, man, because my subject was biology.
We were talking about the way kids learn today versus how we learned back in the day, and is it more advantageous the way they're learning today with artificial intelligence, with video games, versus I didn't find it important. But today with the video games, our generation tends to want to say, put that game down and do your homework, not realizing they're learning just by playing the video games.
Yeah, I sort of understand what you're saying, but here's a little story. I was picking up last year after the pandemic my grandkids from middle school and high school, okay? And I tend to talk to them quite a bit, and I tell stories because they would say something about what happened in school, and I would give an example of, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think it was really having any kind of effect on them, right? Then one day I heard my middle granddaughter say, I like it when Grandpa picks us up because we all,
That's strong. That's strong right there. But a lot of these kids today don't have grandpa or
Yeah.
pop or stepfather that they trust, and
Or mama. Some of them don't have mama. The
or
state has
mama.
them.
So I don't know. What do you think, everyday man?
That will, there's always that, there's gonna be something missing in each one of those scenarios. A parent or a grandparent or whatever. And of course, that's gonna have an effect on learning, on wanting to learn. You know, it does have an effect because all the kids are not blessed with parents and not, you know, so you got some kids who don't, that are behind because there's no one pushing them.
Exactly. That's what we were saying.
You know, kids
They don't
want,
have that.
in spite of what we all said and what kids still say, we want discipline. We don't want it.
Right.
We don't want to just be okay, go,
Yeah.
because
Right.
we haven't had enough life experience at that time, those younger ages. But if you asked us at those younger ages, we didn't want nobody telling us nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we said.
That's what
But we
said,
wanted-
what we
yeah,
did,
But
what
we,
we was told.
but and then
We did what
as
we
we
told.
got older, we started to realize, yeah, that helped. That discipline helped because you know you're not necessarily in jail or you know in
Juvie,
juvenile
yeah.
or and
Yeah.
then moving up
I
to
think the technology
regular jail.
It's failing those kids, you know, because it's not helping them solve any problems, you know.
But
It's
it has-
just-
it has
it's
to-
just there. It's like a calculator.
But it has to be
but it stops. The
each
knowledge is
something. It has to be something from each. You have to say you can only have this much screen time, and then you have to read a book,
yeah.
or we can play a game, or basically the deal is break up that square
Yeah.
That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about when we said
square
that.
eyeball effect.
Yeah.
Somehow we got to
Yeah.
make the schools interesting again, you know.
But see, that's
And fun to go to. I remember when we used to
Wait,
say,
now-
I can't wait till I get to school tomorrow so I can try
That's
to
probably
get
because there was nothing to do at home. You were bored or
yeah, I
something.
could've-
Because
I could've waited for
I think
recess.
school's been school since school's been schooling.
I mean,
You know.
I could have waited for recess or to get there early and hang out with my school friends.
and stuff like
But
that.
I wasn't looking forward to 4 and 4 is 8, 5 and 5 is 10.
I don't,
And, you
I don't know what I
because-
was looking forward to, but I tell you what, I looked forward to school.
It was social.
Yeah, that,
A lot of
could
it was
be-
social,
I
and the
believe
thing
it
is you wanted-
You might be right about
There's
that.
some things you wanted to learn about. There's other things that you didn't really give a crap about. But later on in life,
You know what? I know. My mindset was never there. My mindset was always, what have you got for me today to learn? My mindset from first grade, because I didn't go to kindergarten, from first grade all the way to the last time I went to college, junior college, my mindset was always, what you got for me to learn today? I was always there.
and that's good.
So I don't.
And me,
I
it just had
don't
to, it had to
understand
catch my
anybody
interest
that
some kind of way.
Yeah.
Something about, I think in biology, what caught my interest was the fact that I could look through a microscope and see something that small. You know?
Yeah.
And that kind of took a little interest enough to where it said, hey, look at this thing over here. And I finally looked at something different than I was, you know, the class was actually teaching. And I asked the teacher, what was this? He said, oh, this is this photosynthesis. And everything must face the sun. I remember writing a little note down about that I was going to put in a song, you know, for a song called Photosynthesis. Everything
Okay.
must face the sun, you know.
But you see how you manifest? You manifest the knowledge to the music, right? You infuse it into your music. And you guys, we talked about this before the show, is you turned out, your path took you to music because that's was going to be your path. It was no matter what you were going to do, it was going to go to music.
It
And like
did
you
it to
mentioned
me in math
biology.
too. It did it to me in electronics, to where once I understood the formula for electricity,
Ohm's law.
Ohm's law,
Yeah.
I started trying to apply that to the music. You know,
I thought you said coleslaw.
no.
Like when I figured out the recipe, how I got there, the coleslaw.
Rich. So,
That was the first time I ever felt a feedback from something I had did. I hit the drum and it fed back to me.
and you heard that vibration?
Yeah, I heard
The
it.
string. That was
String theory.
that was another thing we were talking about. But like something you said, like the instability, I give you a personal lesson, not lesson, but a personal example of stability for me, because we moved a lot. I was always the new guy.
Yeah,
So of course, they were lining somebody up for me to fight.
every day.
Well, I got lucky on day one.
I mean, I went to an all-white school in Moses Lake and I had to fight every day.
Well, I learned that comedy is a valuable
I learned that
of not having to fight.
having
every
a
damn
tight
day.
ass was a specialty, because I got hacked every day for fighting because the same white boys kept calling me nigger. I was the only nigger in the school. Moses Lake.
Were you the only black
1958.
person?
Only, I ain't no fool, but I was the only black person in that school in 1958.
Because it could have been the only nigga, but like 8 black people. So we got to check. I was just checking.
And we fought every
That's a
day
good point.
behind the same shit. And we get caught every day behind the same shit. And they kept hacking me so much, I was almost ready then to play hooky from school and stuff, you know. And then I met a white girl with red hair and green eyes. Straight up Irish.
Just straight up. But
Straight up.
so that was what year? Maybe you do the background.
1958.
Oh, Moses Lake.
So that
Peninsula Grade School in Moses Lake.
So 2 years later, I was at Chief Mo, and I became their star running back, and they was throwing me shit. They would not, I mean, it got so crazy that when 2 other blacks came to the school, they would go, "Boy, that nigga sure is tall." They go, "We don't mean you."
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I learned that
I bet
lesson.
they wouldn't let you
I was
play
messing-
quarterback either.
I was messing with
Oh,
a boy that
I-
running on
you
cars.
know what? I never even thought about playing quarterback.
No. What
It
I'm
wasn't
saying
gonna
is,
happen.
at that time,
Yeah.
if you had wanted to, they wouldn't have allowed it.
Maybe not.
Yeah, because black people are not intelligent enough to handle
Yeah.
the responsibility of leading a team.
Yeah, that's why they follow my ass everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but what I'm saying is,
I
you weren't like the court. You and the quarterback hung out. Plus, they let you hang out with him because you were unique. There wasn't a lot of you was around.
See, that's how I learned the lesson from a white boy that was putting a new engine in a 67, was it Camaro? Yeah. No.
Brashear.
Yeah, Camaro. No, Stingray. Was it? What the Vet?
Corvette?
Yeah, the
Oh, that
Corvette.
was-
He was
yeah.
putting it in there, and then the air was all around, and he was trying to line it up and do everything like that. And the dude started fussing. He said, "Damn it, this boat." And they said, "What's wrong?" He said, "This boat's all niggered out." That's the first time I heard that term, you know.
Okay.
And I immediately, I was ready to choke slam somebody up in there and shit. And my partner told me, he said, "Chill, man." He said, "Man, when we get together, wait till you go in." That's the first time I ever went 200 miles an hour in a car.
200 in a car.
Yeah. Listen, and I tell you,
Oh.
I could tell.
You
that the
probably was
wheels-
going like 72.
No,
You
no,
just,
no.
just the adrenaline was.
If you
I
got,
don't know
No, I
if the
don't.
wheels
I'm
were,
playing.
if
the
you got a
wheels were only
supercharged,
touching
if
the
you got a
ground.
supercharged vet, you could probably do 200 miles.
He only
Back
had
in them days.
427. He had that 427 and he was just like, I said, well, how do you even have the nerves to just drop the road like that. How you can roll down the road just
The telephone
Like
poles
that.
were just flying by.
I was sitting back in that seat so hard, I think I left an
Like a whole movie.
in a vinyl seat.
Life was flying by.
But he liked to ride motorcycle. He had a 1980s Sportsman. And he liked to go fast any damn way. But that motherfucker, white boy,
let me
scared
tell you.
shit out of me.
Let me tell you this. In the Midwest and well all over the country, they would substitute the word nigger for black.
Yeah.
They'd say shit like, "Whoa, man, look at that nigger car going down the street," and they would just and the whole point about it is there were never any black people around
Right.
When they
to
talk
tell or comment on whether that was wrong and then when they get around black people like
They think
you,
that's
like,
normal.
they're all niggered up, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So the whole thing is, they'll be saying one thing when you're there, but when you ain't, a whole bunch of other shit.
I
gets
wouldn't have
talked.
lasted no time during the Confederate times and shit like that. I wouldn't have lasted no time. I'd have been hung, dead, chopped up or something.
Pretty much. Me too.
I wouldn't
Or
have
all of
lasted.
the above.
I would.
So hey, that I have a question about that because I often think, just like a lot of black folks, if I was alive back then, I wouldn't have made it because we have the mindset that we have right now.
Right.
But that's because we have been able to fight and swing back and do all these things. My question is, do you guys honestly think that if we were alive back in the slave times, you think we'd still have the mindset of fuck that and fuck them, I'm going off, or it would have been yes massa? We think we'd have fell in
Well,
line.
you gotta remember, you was brought here and you was in chains.
I get that, but my question is, do you think
That being said, our original ancestors were brought here in chains. Then they had children. Those children knew nothing about Africa.
Right.
What they knew was what they was told, which was, nigga, bend down and pick that up.
They was
or I'm
told
gonna
by
whoop your butt.
their parents, you say yes,
No,
sir,
but
boss.
see, the
No,
thing
sir,
is-
boss.
Okay, so my question is, do you think that if you were dropped back then, you'd have the mindset of today of fuck that, or you'd have the mindset of what they
I
had?
both.
I figure like this.
I wouldn't have made it to the boat.
Eventually, you get tired of getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with a feeling of empowerment or just like fuck that, I ain't gonna do it because I would never be in power, so I would never even have those kinds of thoughts. But by the same token, you just get tired of getting your ass kicked for no reason.
Yeah.
So some
Survival.
people might have gone on and survived like that, and other people would have had to been beaten into submission
Which they were.
or killed
Yeah.
or or escape. But of course we're not going to have the mind. Mainly we wouldn't have the mindset is because we wouldn't be as educated as we are.
Exactly.
Okay,
About their style of living.
our outlook on the world was so simple before they snatched us and drug us over here. Then you got your limited, you're brilliant in the jungle, in your
Environment.
your comfortable environment.
Yeah.
But when you're snatched out of that and thrown over here, you're not going to be all, oh yeah, because you don't know what the hell's going
I
on.
learned something.
You don't
about
So
that.
do you
Some
think-
of them
You don't speak
lied
the
to
language,
and some of them were sold to these people.
you know?
So do you guys think that it's out of line for people to speak on our ancestors of the past as if they did something wrong? Like, I can't believe they didn't do this or they did do that.
All that does is show that they are ignorant
They're not thinking it out.
of history, right? And they're not thinking it out. They're not.
But you can't.
Because it's about survival, right?
Yes.
It's about survival.
I will say this. The people in that era would have kicked our ass in anything.
They had to be pretty strong. They had
Serious.
to be strong.
Because their lives were built on being
Strong.
and being, you know, not necessarily
Aware.
aggressive,
Their
but they're
awareness.
aware,
Yeah.
and they learn. You know, people learn just like this because they got here and chains or whatever. They took the chains out, but they learned what to do to not get their ass kicked.
Do the Toby. Yep.
Well, to answer your question, no. The kids who want to say, well, if they had a no, you didn't have that mindset because let's not forget, it was a tribe that sold us out anyway to
There
come
you
here.
go. There you
So
go.
I mean,
And
how
there's
far
some
back
lies
do we want to
told
go?
in that stuff, you know.
How much money or gold or guns did that tribe get for selling us out?
Spices or
You know.
whatever, you know.
So I mean,
And,
And the same lie they told to them Africans, they told to them Indians when Columbus and them got here too.
And the
That
thing
same
is,
shit.
the colonizers would turn on the people that's turning. In other words, you go out and get us like 5 or 6 more, blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
So they'll take them 5 or 6 more and your ass too.
Uh-huh.
Just cause you try, you know. Now I don't have to pay him. Plus I got 6 slaves.
Yeah. 12 years. of
He
slavery.
bought me 5 and I got him. You know, and that's the whole thing. It was like all of it was all underhanded, all, you know, deceit and what have you. You know, and it's like, would you, as a tribes person, a tribesman, colonizers show up on the horizon? Those boats come out, and then you make it. Then you somehow can communicate
Make a
and
deal.
figure out to make a deal with it. Would you do that and sell out all these other people? Not necessarily black people, but I mean, just basically to sell out a person.
Or you
Well, would you have the mindset to say, oh, this gold, which ain't worth a shit here, but the colonizers seem to love it. This gold or this or, and I'm sure they're not going to give them firearms. I'm going to trade their firearms because then that,
How about firewater?
maybe so, you know?
well, when did that come along? I mean, on the timeline.
Well, no, they've been drinking grog for centuries.
I'm about to say, is firewater, is that equivalent to alcohol?
Yeah.
To liquor? Man, well, I don't know nothing, but my assumption is that the people who was here long before the white folks showed up was getting high and drinking.
They was.
So I was like, I'm sure they might have brought something new, but not more
Maybe.
spectacular, I'm sure.
But, well, no, that was probably
But you
there.
got
it wouldn't
to
been-
realize that most of these African countries were Muslim, so they weren't into the alcohol thing.
Yeah,
That was
Smoking.
relatively rare.
They smoked.
And there was way more pigs running around
They smoked.
than cows.
They smoked that bush.
So I mean, quiet as is kept, because it costs money to hire the Dutch and everybody else to go transfer us here. Quiet as it's kept. If white folks weren't so lazy, they were the original ones picking cotton and sugar cane.
They were, and they called them what kind of servants?
Oh, indentured
Indentured servants.
servers.
They wouldn't do
And
the work.
Right.
So-
And the slavery came out of the indentured servants.
That's
Not only that, but you could work your way out of an indentureship.
Yeah.
You could never work your way out of being a slave.
not slavery.
Right.
And then the people, and then the indent, to keep them from working their way out of being indentured, they always would trick their ass.
Yeah.
So that they,
Raise the price of
you
how
know,
much it costs
the
to
only
get out.
story is the company story. Remember that
That's
song?
right.
Yeah.
Tennessee, something.
Tennessee,
16
Tennessee.
guns.
Anyway, the whole thing is, they would work for the company. The company would own where they get their supplies. They also own their housing, you know, and all that. So it's like, you get this, but you gonna pay it right back to get something to live
You're
on.
always indebted to the company.
So you're always gonna be that, and that's just a step above slavery. But they do figure out a way to keep those people
Yeah.
owing them
and getting their labor for practically free.
Yeah.
Because if I pay you, but then you turn around and buy all your supplies and all your goods at my store at maybe a jacked up price,
Yeah.
then you still gonna owe me because I'm happy to give you credit. I know where you live.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this this movie called Descendants, and it's about the descendants of the very last documented slave ship that came over here. And it came well after. It came in 1863, so
Right.
we're right around the time the
Civil War was
Civil
over.
War was over. It's called Cladida. It landed in Alabama, and the folks there. They came in, they were told they were slaves. Then they heard about the freedom. And they said, no, we ain't, you know. But they're sitting here in this land, right? And the old slave master says, well, you can live here, but you got to work for me. It was the same thing, right? Right? And so one day, one of them named, I think, Cujo Lewis, goes to Captain Jack or whatever the hell his name was, says, hey man, we want out of this. What can we do to get out of here? We want our own land, we want to grow our own food, whatnot.
Right, right.
And Captain said, listened to him and said, you must think I'm crazy. He said, get your ass on back there and work for me because ain't nothing else going on. So those descendants, those original people, because these are Africans, right?
Right.
They got this stuff together, and the little money they was making, they went and bought their own land down the street and established a place called Africatown. And so they ended up, you know, having their own food and having their own stores and whatnot. And to this day they exist. But what's happened over the years is they brought in factories around them. So now they got all these chemicals coming down at
Oh
them.
yeah.
So it's a really
Absolutely.
interesting.
Another good
There are-
documentary
there are
I
still
caught on
pockets
there. That was the true
Black
story of the Black Cowboy.
Well, I've seen that.
I've seen that
Yeah.
one where they took it from the Harder They Fall and broke all those characters down that were real and stuff. So they were just fighting to stay out of slavery too. You know,
Yeah.
they're supposed to have been free, and they were getting denied all this shit, so they started robbing
Dude.
banks.
Well, there's money in it. I mean, they could. That's how you can make some money.
Well, y'all
You
know
know,
the Lone
bounty
Ranger.
hunting.
The Lone Ranger was actually black.
Yeah. Bass Reeves.
What the baddest sheriff they had back then was black too.
He was a ranger. His name was Bass Reeves.
Yep.
That's the second time I heard, what was his name? Deadwood Dick showed up. Nat,
Yeah.
what was it? Nat something. His name was Nat something.
Nat Love.
Nat Love.
Love,
That's it.
yeah.
That was him.
Yeah.
Nat Love. They did a big
And
documentary.
then they had
on him.
the Buffalo Soldiers.
Well, 19th
You know, as America
Opening
fulfilled
up.
its manifest destiny
Yeah.
and
opening
moved
up.
west.
Yeah.
Everything, as far as you can see it, is ours.
Uh-huh.
Or discovered by us.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There was people there already.
Right.
You know. See, so that seems to be the problem that they're having in Palestine right now. I mean, in Israel.
I think it gave it put the white folks on a little bit of a guilt trip, the kids and stuff, you know,
Please.
because everything seems to be something that only black people excel the best at.
Guilt trip.
That guilt, oh man.
Hey,
We shouldn't have whooped them like that, you know, and stuff like that.
no, please.
It might have brought us along. We did bring them along. We taught them how to dance. We taught them how to sing.
Here's the story. you remember in the 60s and the 70s where you had a lot of young white women running around trying to make restitution for the
Yeah.
shit that their ancestors did.
And we know they
And a
did
lot of
right.
brothers just took
Oh, yeah, baby. They never promised me that car I wanted.
You know, now you got Karen.
Oh, the worse.
911, what's your emergency? There's this little black girl out here with a Kool-Aid stand.
Yeah,
Right.
she's
And I'm
selling
scared of
water.
her.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Because she knows how to make change.
And the woman with the little dog was, the woman in the park with the nigga and the two little dogs. Talking about, and he's attacking me. He's attacking me now. I just like the other part where they say Karens that get their just deserves.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
the
the
sister walked in there and that white woman called her a nigga. She said, "Wait a minute, say nigga one more damn time.
hey,
You done messed with the wrong nigga." Pow!
you got me all fucked up. No, I'm
you're
sorry,
not
I
that
ain't
far
the
away
one.
from the truth.
That's the true
There
story.
is a universe where Samuel L. Jackson has a channel.
Oh,
He what?
He has a channel, the
Uh-huh.
Samuel L. Jackson channel.
Okay.
yeah.
And there's an episode of Leave It to Beaver where he goes, "Say that one more, motherfucker. Call me the Beaver one. Just one more."
I saw one on there.
Learn how to say theater.
My name is Theodius. Theodis.
The new ones is like
the beaver.
where the child is acting up and stuff like that, and turn around and say something like to their parents like, "Well, fuck you, bitch," and the nigga kick his shoe off, and the woman be in stride and catch it in the air. And then there's another one where
Catches a shoe in there.
catch the shoe in the air going after the kid, right? He's
Oh.
like sitting down. And she said,
What was that?
"I told you to get in there and do this and that." And she said, "I ain't doing it. Fuck you, bitch." And nigga just kicked the shoe up in the air and he couldn't act
That's
it.
a commercial?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's all over this. It's all over that damn Facebook.
Man,
and
Which
shit.
universe is that in? I want to
Okay.
catch that.
No, they're doing it where
Yeah.
it's like the man comes in there to tells his son, "I told you to do this and do that and do this," and she
Lady.
like that. And the little boy said, "Well, I ain't doing shit and fuck you," and like that. And then all of a sudden the screen go black, and then it wakes up and you just see the daddy looking at him. He says,
Hey.
he said, "Nah, everything gonna be all right. I'm gonna call the doctor."
Hey, I remember the first time I went to one of my white friends' house, and not only did they call their parents by their first name, but they cussed it at them and around them. And I'm sure, because the thing is, dude said, "Yeah, well," he had a train set. He said, "Yeah, well, you know, I had set this up, you know." And so he said, "Look what I did, you know, I put the lighting over there, and I got the train." And he's like, "Damn it, Bill." I said,
Wow.
"Whoa." I'm gonna have to catch this child's head. Because if it was in a child, I would have had to make that catch because she done knocked it, or he done knocked his fucking head right off.
Yeah.
But it's like, "Damn it, Bill, I didn't want that like that." And it's like, I
It's
backed up.
Like the boy said,
I backed up. I was waiting for it. I didn't want the
in that
ricochet.
situation
You know?
where
Shit.
you know, not only can they show disrespect to their parents or something like that, the parents feel that this child has to be my friend.
Apparently, yes.
You gotta be you can't be a friend. You gotta be a parent.
I've run
We
I've
got
run
caught up
into
in
that.
too.
I ran into that, several times. But after that one time, I was used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But when that kid said, "Damn it, Bill,"
Mm-hmm.
and I looked around and I'm thinking, okay, it's his dad. I'm not Bill. Who was he talking to? And I'm serious. After that, I just expected it.
It would be like an episode of Daffy Duck where somebody smacked his lips trying to get back to the face.
They gonna put it over to the
Like
corner
Mama's
and still
house.
talking. Yeah. But I tell you, man, I'm
What
like,
was the movie word?
it was just a different kind of.
Was that a
And I never,
Was that a
I've never
Martin?
ever heard a black heard that in a black family. I don't know, there might have been, but in my experience, I've never heard
Yeah.
anything like that. That
No.
dynamic between a parent and a child in a black home.
You never will.
I don't know that, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Nigga jumped out the window.
I don't know. It may
You
happen,
getting
but
away.
it just never happened in my
I done
experience
tried it.
during
I
my
done tried it.
lifetime.
So
I
I got
didn't
a
even
question.
know the word freeze.
If you have one chance at being a TV star, right? You got opportunity. You got not a whole lot of talent. So you go in for the audition and they say, okay, here's the deal, Jerry. You play this dumb little kid, and his name is the Beaver. Would you take that role? Do you
Yes.
think you would?
Yeah.
Knowing, let me add to it then, I need to pile on. Knowing that's going to follow you around the rest of your life, you never get a serious role again.
Yeah.
You would still take it.
I would-
What are you talking about,
that
Screech?
killed, that killed
The
the
beaver.
beaver.
No, I
That
said,
killed
what are
the
you
beaver.
talking about, Screech? That's the exact same fucking thing that
Killed
happened
his
to
ass
him.
too, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Justin Diamond could not get another fucking role after he played Screech for so long on
Who's the one that
Saved
played
by
in
the
Carter?
Bell.
That boy that played in Carter too.
Yeah.
Who?
The white boy that played in Carter.
Oh, yeah, the Jewish kid.
Yeah, didn't he die too?
I don't know for
Yeah,
sure.
he did.
A lot
I
of
think
them
he
went
did.
suicide, man. A lot of
And
them
then
went
the
suicide.
girl from
Alfalfa went suicide.
and then the whole like
Nah, Alfalfa got shot.
yeah
Alfalfa got shot.
Gary
I heard it was suicide.
Gary the short one
Coleman.
Coleman
Yeah.
Willis and the white girl played their sister. They all fell right off the tracks after the shows was over. She ended up being like a drug addict, and then she died.
Yeah.
And then Bridges,
Todd
Todd Bridges,
went to prison.
his ass went to jail and almost died and shit. And Gary's gone. Gary Coleman, he went crazy, and then he's gone. So it's like that child star shit ain't what it's cracked up to be.
Well, the Beaver's still alive.
Yeah, is Wally still
But
alive?
he's still the Beaver, though.
He's still the beaver.
I mean, how do you...
Nah, you even approach him.
I think that if you're able to embrace and accept that, then you can flourish in it. I know like the Power Ranger guy. Now this ain't obviously past the 50s and 60s episode,
Right.
but like the Power Ranger folks, none of them did nothing after
Right.
Power Rangers, and Power Rangers was a phenomenon.
But
What do they do
yeah.
now? They go to Comic-Con and they sign autographs. They've lean into it. This
And
is who I
they're-
am.
No, but there ain't no Beaver Con, though. There ain't no place for...
No, but the whole
No, man, there is. They got all kind of cons.
The Beaver,
Wait,
Not
wait,
the Beaver
the
con.
Beaver. Yeah.
But the difference
Dennis the
difference
Menace shit.
then and now is who controlled the money and where it went.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Back in them days, those kids are getting paid shitty
they-
wages,
yeah.
comparatively speaking, and what wages they got, their parents and their agents and their people fucked them out of it. Now you have different laws and different rules that apply to how they can treat or how, what happens after that show is over.
And you can divorce
So
your
you could
parents.
actually have a little nest egg set aside, a trust fund or some bullshit. But they didn't care about that shit them days. They said, "Motherfucker, you gonna be Beaver from now on, and we're not gonna give you nothing for it."
I could just see here, 57 years old,
Hey,
right? Looking at
okay.
available Pakistani women, Pakistani women, and one of them writes back, "You look familiar. Are you the Beaver?"
No, you are.
No, thank you.
Why I'm right. No, but the thing is, according to the story of how he got that name, it's Wally's fucking fault. He should
Do tell. I want to hear this.
Wally called him Beaver because he couldn't say Theodore. Beaver Cleaver's real name is Theodore Cleaver. Wally, as a baby, because they're not that far apart.
Yeah.
So Wally was a toddler and couldn't say Theodore, but he could say Beaver, and the kid grew up with that shit. After I heard that, I would have had to be trying to, you know, get some retribution. Wally would have been, oh, and mine.
Okay, but if you're the Beaver and you're reading the script for the next day, at some point in time, right, you're gonna light your cigar, walk into it. God damn it. I ain't doing this out of the Beaver.
But the thing is, it only
Teach
got
Wally
to
how
it
to
only
talk.
got to
So-
it only got to where Beaver was in high school,
Yeah, it lasted
and then
6
it went
years.
off.
Yeah.
Now, if they had
Oh,
gone
okay.
to where, because Wally had gone off to college, and he
Wow.
would show up,
Okay.
but then Beaver got into high school, and then the show went off. Now, if they would have kept the show, remember what they did was Saved by the Bell. They had the college years, and then they had them come back with Screech and them guys. Now, if they'd have done what with the Beaver, and he's like 37 years old, he got 4 kids.
I don't see him having any kids.
You
Oh,
know?
how does the boy from
He's
the
a-
Rifleman feel?
He's a grandfather.
Yeah.
The real
The
person.
real Beaver.
How would he be
the
feeling
real
about
Beaver.
that?
What's his name? Jerry Mathers.
Jerry Mathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, he has a big old house down there in California, in L.A. And his mother, who's 95, lives with him, his grandkids, and his kids.
Sound like
I'm
a Southern
saying
house.
you-
I think you're making it.
I think that a role like a Leave It to Beaver or a Screech, well, it all depends on how you lean into it and flip it once it's over. Because it's always that age-old question: would you rather been in love once and lost it, or never to have loved at all? They had this monumental, time in their life that may be gone, but now is it haunting them, or are they grateful for it?
Yes.
That's the question.
Actually, it actually
sounds
goes
like
both
Beaver.
ways.
Like Jerry Mathers is grateful for it, because what he said was, hey, I had fun. He said, I was glad when it was over,
Right.
because I could live a normal life.
Okay.
He said, I actually got a chance to make friends.
And he never pursued much acting after that.
And he didn't, because he said, well, there was no need.
Yeah, right.
He said there was no
Yeah.
need.
No.
to
What I say is, obviously I can't be sure. I'm just saying, from all that we've heard, allegedly, he never
Yeah.
pursued many more acting gigs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, quiet as kept, he was the Beaver.
Right. And
So-
he got
But
all those
that's my
residuals.
point.
So he's typecast just like Screech.
Okay, I can see the outtakes.
Screech-
Wally, what
Screech,
Beaver?
look, first of all,
Kind of lingus. Jeez, Beaver, you stupid cunt. Don't stop hanging around with Eddie Haskell. So,
Whatever happened to the broad Annette Funicelli or whatever her name was?
she
she still closed Walt Disney World on Sunday
she
nights
grew-
for me.
She's
No.
the only girl
No, listen.
that I wanted to see from the waist down.
She grew
Yeah.
up and married her manager. Homeboy groomed her. Said, "Oh yeah, this gonna be fine."
This gonna be
Years.
it.
Hey, that's the other question. You think about how Hollyweird and the whole thing with them and kids and how they do groom kids and all of that. So do you think that may have played into some of these child stars who grew up bad or out of the business? Like Leave It to Beaver, he said he was on for 6 seasons. Who knows what happened on the set behind the street in his life, and at whatever age he was, you think it's conceivable that he was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
there's
Bunch
some
of them like that.
some kids. I mean, it's like you're watching old TV and there's kids, right? And you're sitting there going, that's so and so. Oh, this one's going, and then other times you're going, wow, I wonder whatever happened to that kid. Because they come in, make a few bucks,
Yeah.
put themselves through school, the hell with it. You know, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
there was so many ways that went. It's just like back in the day, Shirley Temple.
Oh Lord,
Shirley Temple was
Shirley
the-
Hatfield?
Shirley Temple.
Oh,
was
Temple.
a
The
shit.
little girl about this big
Oh,
used to
yeah.
dance with Bojangles.
Yes.
Okay? She
Yeah.
made all these movies. She had a line of clothing. She was everywhere. Right? Her career ended. Next time you heard about her, she was a goddamn ambassador to somewhere.
And she was married.
And her name was Shirley Temple Black.
True. But,
But I mean, but that's just one example.
But
As to-
they have like a documentary
The way-
thing out with her.
And
And
grooming them girls.
talk about her and her mom talking. Her mom was like, "Yo, Hollywood, they was tripping."
Sure.
They said they would separate us, lock her in a room, and then like interrogate and pressure and all this stuff on both of them for these movie roles and all this stuff. And
Right.
she was like, "Nah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
they
but I mean,
tripping."
that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
look
She
at that
was,
gymnast coach was doing
she
it. Them
was,
gals.
she was probably
He grooming them.
the biggest star at that time. As far, and I mean, as far as like she was making bucks.
Bucks. Yeah, she was making big
She
bucks
was
for that.
a box office attraction. And then every time she danced with Bojangles, that movie would go through the roof.
And then,
but she was like
and
this
she was-
cute little persona.
Right.
But she was, it's not like the Beaver. Or,
Right.
or how about Buckwheat, right? Buckwheat is in this room.
Whatever happened to him?
And it's like, he's combing his hair. Buckwheat, you're on in 5 minutes. What are you doing? Combing my hair. No, don't comb it.
Right.
You're not Buckwheat unless your hair is all over the.
Oh yeah.
So,
What about alfalfa?
yeah, but he's a white
Yeah,
dude, man. I mean,
No, I think the Little Rascals,
I know.
they created the persona that now it's like, okay, well, you aren't anything without
There's
this
like
piece.
four
Buckwheat with the
like-
hair, Alfalfa with the piece, and his dumbass
yeah,
voice.
Yeah.
Spanky, he was the fat kid.
Oh, by the way,
Stymie
Jackie Cooper
bald.
was in there.
by the way, you remember when Sammy Davis Jr. was in there, right?
I don't remember when he was in it, but I definitely can see
Well, I mean,
that.
we don't remember when he was in it because a lot of that was.
No, I don't
before.
think I've seen the
He
footage.
was a little black kid in the Derby.
That was Sammy
That was
in the
Sam.
Derby? And he.
Who was it?
There was like four different characters
Huh?
for that
There's a
shit.
bunch of them.
There
Who
was
was
a bunch
it?
of
The
them. yeah.
Derby. I don't even know what Derby is.
He was
That's
a
the
little
round
bitty
hat
kid. He
you
was
see on
like,
the top
Oh, that
of
was
the line.
Stymie.
Stymie.
Yeah, that was Stymie.
Stymie.
I know what kid you're talking about now. Yes, I can see it. What was
That
it? One
would
thing when they were eating the pie, and he was like, "I'm sure the mouse ate it," and he had pie all around his face.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. But they had so many kids run through there. And then the Bowery Boys and the Dead End
Yeah,
Kids.
Bowery,
Yeah,
no,
Bowery
that-
Boys,
yeah.
yeah.
The Bowery Boys started out as the
They
Dead
had-
End Kids. They didn't have
yeah.
no black folks
They had
running
Cooper.
around,
They had
except for the one that always would come on and go, "Feet don't fail me now." That's the only black kid. You know, I'm sitting there going, wow. You know how you sitting there, you're looking for people that look like you. You know, it's like, well, why do we got
And still can't find him. No.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think
So you brought up a name that I have a little story about at the start of this conversation, and this person used to babysit us when I was in
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I was 5, 6 years old. She lived upstairs with her mom, and her brother, with babysitters, and she would come downstairs and she smelled real funny. I mean, she had this funny mutts on her, right?
Smoking dope.
Yep, smoking weed. Shirley Hemphill.
Shirley Hemphill.
Oh,
I knew
okay.
you were talking about because you told me
Okay.
that story before.
Because that's what I thought he said. Because I'm thinking, what was that show with Raj and
What's happening?
What's Happening? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Of.
Yeah.
That was,
So,
that was Shirley.
where was that when she babysat you?
That was back when I was 5 or 6. So
Here?
it was
North Carolina?
in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
We lived in a 3-level house. On the bottom level were some ex-slaves, old women who had a whole bunch of chickens.
Mm-hmm.
In my family, my grandmother, my mom, my sister and my brother, and my uncle were in the middle floor. My dad was off in the Air Force.
Okay.
And the Hemphills were upstairs.
Right. Yeah, I met her at
That's
the top of the
kinda cool.
underground.
Yeah, because she was a comedian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and, and it's funny because when she came here, she did Swanee's, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's what matter.
The
Not
person
the white girl.
she did on stage
No.
was my mom.
Remember?
She did your mom.
Right, her
Her
stand-up
character.
was her character was my mom.
So how did I'm
She-
trying to figure
she-
how did audience relate to that?
Well,
Or that was just a part
no,
of her-
basically the deal is the character she was doing was based on Wilhelmina.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
See, it's like
Yeah.
when Pryor would do all the thing, all
Right.
the different
Body
fucking
uncles and shit.
characters were of people that he knew. He
Right,
knew.
that's
He
right.
knew fucking Mudbone. He
That's
knew
right.
this
That's
other
right.
drunk.
That's
He knew.
right.
So she just used
Got
her
you. I see what you're
persona,
saying.
yeah,
Right.
for that character. But yeah, because I met her when she came. She was at the Comedy Underground. I think I emceed that show. But I had met her, and then he started telling me, yeah, when we was little kids, we knew her, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Small world.
You know, did you ever stay in touch before she passed away? And I mean,
No,
once
bro.
she moved to
No.
Hollywood or whatever.
Well, no, we actually stayed in touch with her mom because what she did was we went to the show. My mom went to the show, the one show down there. I actually went to a show. Then we went to another show because she gave us some comps to come in with my mom. And while we were there, back in the dressing room, she called her mom.
Okay.
Right on. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, you know, but and then she passed away.
Yeah.
Now you, I have a bone to pick with professional comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a bone to pick.
Hey, I'm semi-retired.
Okay, I got a semi-bone.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, that's different.
Okay.
That's different. No.
Because growing up, comedians were my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a religion.
Mine too.
I believed in everything they said. Then that was me. One day, I'm listening to a comedian, and then he said, "True story." I stopped, right? I'm like, true story? You mean all that shit you've been... You really don't have a sister with a CNI tit?
Made it up. Made it up.
That's got me for life.
Oh, God.
Comedians make up shit. I mean, what do you mean true story? All your stories aren't true?
They're true to us in our minds.
Well,
I would
nobody
imagine, but
explained
I don't
that to
know
me.
About, you know, but no, you know, the thing is, like we used to listen to comedians back in the day, and you would hear that shit, and then people like, you remember Pig Meat Markham?
Yeah.
Pig Meat would always say these things that were like
Borderline.
in your window.
Yeah.
But the way he said it, it would be so funny. And the black folks, you know, that party records, right? You kids go to bed. They close the door, right?
Rudy Ray Moore? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they pull
Don
the key.
Rickles.
Then they pull the key out the keyhole because remember they had them little skeleton key doors.
Yeah.
So we'd be up against the keyhole, listening to Red Fox and Pig Meat and everything. And Pig Meat would say shit like, his sidekick, he came up with it, and he say shit like, "Boy, I recognize your face, but your feet done grow clean out of my recollection." And we're like, who says that? who says that? And they're doing it, and then there's a skit with him and a woman, and you know, like they just got married, whatever. And so,
Yeah.
so no, just
I
you know, and so.
figure out
So he says, okay, it won't be long now. And she goes, it never was. Right? Right? And so then there's a knock at the door. And he goes, who is it? He goes, House Dick. He said, don't need you out here tonight. and this shit here, we were little kids just laughing our ass off. We're like 6, 7,
Now,
but we got it.
now I got to go back and
You know?
look it up on Spotify and listen to it.
And LaWanda Page,
Yeah.
and Esther.
And
That
Esther.
was what was so ironic about that character.
Yeah.
Because she was one of the bluest comics ever. Blue meaning dirty.
Dirty. Yeah.
She was one, Anne used to be a dancer, had great legs. Used to be a dancer, vaudeville and shit. And then all them guys was
Red Fox.
playing the chick. That's where they all met on the
Yeah.
Chitlin circuit.
Chitlin
Where they would play only clubs they could play was black clubs.
Yeah.
And they would go through and do that, man. Shit. And they used to have there was a record store here down somewhere near toward 23rd and Rainier Cross somewhere in there.
Yeah. Kind of.
Not
was it?
Rush's Dad, not Summarize, but there was another little bitty record store
I'm thinking
over there.
I'm thinking of something.
Music menu?
Something like that. But anyway,
Oh,
they had a
Subway,
whole
Subway.
section of black comedy records.
Yeah, that was music menu.
Yeah.
Because that's where I got most of my.
Yeah. And they had
Yeah.
LaWanda Page, they had
As a matter of fact, that's where I got the one on the page from.
and Pig Meat, and they had oh God. Fuck. Just
Yeah.
obviously Red Fox.
Yeah.
You know,
Rudy Ray
but,
Moore.
Rudy Ray Moore.
But he had a whole bunch of people back there.
Yeah,
Nipsey Russell and all of them were doing that
That's
shit
right.
back then.
Oh, by the way, a
Hey,
black
Tom.
man invented stand-up comedy.
Do tell.
Huh?
Do tell.
It's true. He was the first. He was the first. Okay, people used to do jokes while they're dancing, or basically what he was the first one to actually just come out there and tell stories.
Okay.
And then when he would get to the end of the story, he'd go, "Yeah." That's where the word punchline comes from. Because he'd get to the end of
Got
the
it.
story and he'd go, "Yeah." And the
Oh
his
yeah,
name's Charles Cross.
Is that oh yeah?
Who is
oh
it?
yeah?
Charles
Cross. Okay.
Huh?
He always said, "Oh yeah."
No, he just always did this.
Oh,
And that's where the term, that's the punchline is.
Got it.
He gets to the
Right.
he gets to the gist of the story, and then he would give the punchline, and he would just do that.
Charles Cross.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to look that up.
Me too.
Okay. Well, I'm
'Cause he
glad
was
we had this. Okay. I feel better about comedians.
He
now,
was
so.
he was a he was a vaudevillian, all them guys. About 10 minutes.
Okay.
He was those guys did all of them. They used to do vaudeville, variety shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't any stand-up comic per se.
Right.
People would do comedy as part of their dancing or their singing or their
Right.
Their little
It wasn't
sketch
by
or
itself.
whatever.
It didn't stand by it.
But he was the one that would just come out and stand there and tell stories.
That shit's all niggered out, man.
I had a shot at being a comedian once, but this teacher killed it because I had to be funny because we were always moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the class cracking up once, and then she walked in. She knew who it was. Mr. Green, that's not funny. I'm like,
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
that's
killing
right.
it before you watch your fat ass in here. And I must have said it out loud because, okay, you stay here after school.
Did that come
I
out?
know I thought it. But
Class,
Lips, what did you do, Lips? Did you say that out?
No, you thought it, but it just came out.
Oh,
That's
So
what I
she
did.
didn't
I
enter
thought
me
the
for
shit
comedy
just
a
came
little
out.
bit.
Hey,
Shit, Martin Ryan, man.
It was weird, man. See, I was never the class clown, but I was always the class smartass.
And there is a difference. Not
Oh,
much.
I had a couple white dudes who was always the class clown. We
Yeah.
had several classes together.
We had
They're the
one
class
dude.
clown.
Yeah.
So it takes the spotlight off of me. And I
got
can just
it.
slide a zinger in every now and then. And teachers hate when you top their little jokes.
Yeah.
Boom, and like they tell a little joke and the audience goes ah, and then you put a topper on it and everybody goes ah.
Yeah.
That funny look like oh
yeah.
like that is
with
it?
the teacher and said,
Yeah.
So
we were always trying to take a quiz, and he said, teacher, he said, could I step out? outside for a minute. You know, he said, I got gas. And teacher said, quit all that nonsense and everything. Get back and do your test. And this nigga just let out a big ass fart. Everybody, he got hacked for that shit, man.
He got hacked?
He got hacked.
No
for it.
hacks.
They took him on the hallway and gave him 2 hacks. Because everybody cracking.
Oh,
Our composure no
You
more.
mean like physical hacks?
Yeah.
Like
With the,
with
like
a
the paddle, like the,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
paddle.
Oh, wow.
No, because I thought they had. I thought that was another name
For
for
being
Yeah, I was trying to work that out myself.
Because at my grandson's they called them jugs. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell.
What they call it an initiation for the frat.
pledging.
Pledging niggas ass. They
No, we
pledging.
we had a teacher at meetings. We had a teacher at meetings, a technical drawing teacher, and his name was, what the fuck was his name, man? He was, oh man, he would one of them teachers that would dress really nice all the time, right? You know, he had his little charcoal brown pants on and his little Italian loafers and shit, right? He was a technical drawing teacher, but he had a paddle that used to hang right up on the wall as you're going out, and it was about that long. And it was kind of shaped almost like a fish.
Yeah,
Right? They had a little, at the end, you had a little grip right here, and he had 5 holes punched in.
Down in the air resistance.
You know what? He ain't even cool.
He had 5.
It's gonna leave them little rings on your ass.
Oh, but there's more. It was sanded and varnished,
Yeah.
and its name was Charlie.
Sir, I don't think you gotta have to
I
be
like
Charlie.
it.
Every now and then,
Yeah.
that's like Mr. Turney. Mr. Turney was a woodshop
Shit.
teacher, and he kept him a good ass.
My boy must have been good friends with the woodshop teacher. Because that shit was perfect. It was very nice.
He always say
Yeah,
something.
you know.
He said,
I thought I was
you
gonna
gotta
get it when
take
I
the
hit him.
grade and you gotta
I hit
take
him
the
with the
angle
eraser.
measurement right here and stuff like that. You hear me now?
It
Don't
kind
you?
of makes sense, right? Because he varnished it, polished it.
Right.
If it's rough, he hits you.
Oh, it was.
Okay, that's just that one spot. But then and then it slides, it creates ripples.
But see, the thing is,
A turd come out your
he used to
pants.
throw erasers at people, right? Like if he thought you wasn't paying attention, he just throw a fucking eraser at you.
Okay.
I'm minding my own business.
Picked it up, threw it back, didn't you?
Doing, it was technical mechanical drawing and shit, right?
He threw it back.
The fucking eraser.
He threw it back.
And it bounced, and landed right in front of where I was working. I look up. Yep.
Like Bush in the shoe.
Oh,
Hit the motherfucker right here on his thigh. Had a big rectangular white yellow chalk mark.
2 hacks.
He was wearing.
2 hacks.
He was wearing these really fucking nice charcoal brown pants
That's 2 hacks.
with the pleat and a little 3/4 inch cuff and shit. I mean, he was down, right? And everybody in the classroom, including me, just knew that he was gonna take me out and give me what you call them, hacks. Give me a couple hacks.
Meet Charlie. Huh?
Yeah.
He looked up at me, and I looked at him, and he just said, just kept looking at me, and then went right on back to doing what he was doing.
Okay, you got
So I
it.
said, oh, okay, I guess that might have been one of them respect things or whatever.
Well, he wasn't sure what to
He
do.
wasn't like he wasn't like,
If he did it out of anger,
you
it
know,
would look
well,
bad.
basically the deal is, it was just a reflex, and then
Yeah.
he was supposed to catch it.
Yeah. Just a reflex. That in the moment.
And it just went boop, boop, and I'm sitting here and I'm drawing something. I
You know,
got
Clifford,
the,
now
and
that I
it just
think about
landed
it,
right there.
In grade school in St. Louis, Missouri, the teachers didn't even use hacks and stuff like that. They used that pointer stick.
Oh yeah, they used to have a pointer. They slam it on. They slam it on
And
the
then you
goddamn.
could be going through a whole week and getting points towards how many licks you're gonna get. You know?
Where could you spend those points?
Wait, but wait, could you carry him over?
I ain't gonna make them miss no time.
Like,
They can't be missing
You
no
spend them points in the nurse's office. I got 5 today, nurse.
You get caught talking.
All right, let's wrap-
that might
let's wrap
be
it up.
do they go? Do they carry over or what?
No, it just go at the end of the
Oh,
week.
no,
They just tell you how many points you got, and you go back there and take your little licks.
Oh yeah.
I remember that in grade school.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever knew about getting whooped
Yeah, I
going to
remember when
school.
Well,
Take
hey,
your shit.
speaking of getting
Take your
I
time
stole a
and
piece
put-
of bubble gum out of the candy bowl.
He's saying something, I think.
and speaking of getting whipped, it's time to get up out of here. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Black History, featuring old black men. My name is David H. Dudley III, and I'll see you next time.
Jake Walker, sure will miss you.
Chris Barnes, see you real soon.
Gary Green, your street philosopher, and I'm going to give you the words to take with you. If people are hating on you, don't give up. That means you're doing something right. Haters got to hate, and they don't have a backup plan. Let them hate.
Let him.
Yeah, let him.
Peace.
Ooh, peace.
Okay, nothing.
Or not.
Can't do nothing about it anyway.
Be dead.
Yeah, but that won't change their mind.
Well, no, but it'll make them think about it next time.
How